A lot of people have been contacting me with questions and concerns about this bill, and I want to first make it very clear that this bill is not taking away your constitutional right of freedom of speech. In fact, as a constitutional right, it would be quite illegal for any government to try and take away or restrict that right. But, of course, that hasn't stopped the Conservative Party from trying to convince you the government would still like to do it anyways. So let's cut through the noise and get to the facts. What does C-10 attempt to do? First, it attempts to update key elements of the broadcasting policy for which Canada has had since the early 1990s, when I was in high school. Second, it provides the CRTC with powers to regulate online audio and audiovisual services, allowing them to ensure that large media platforms like YouTube and Netflix are subject to the same rules as traditional media outlets on radio and TV. And third, it ensures the creation of Canadian content is reflective of Canadian society and accessible to all Canadians. So what does that last point mean? It means that Canadian content takes greater account of Indigenous cultures and languages, recognizes the needs and interests of all Canadians, including racialized communities and Canadians of ethnocultural backgrounds, and it promotes greater accessibility for people with disabilities. What C-10 is not trying to do is regulate user-generated content. This means that the content that Canadians create and upload to social media will not be considered as programming under the Act. So, when Conservative MPs like Michelle Rempel-Garner say things like,
in Canada, there is a bill in front of Parliament that is probably going to pass because of Justin Trudeau that would stop you from being able to post what you want on social media. That's Bill C-10.
It's untrue. Bill C-10 was never intended for this purpose, and quite frankly, it has been hijacked by this anti-free speech movement promoted by hyper-partisan politicians like Rempel. But just for absolute certainty, in an attempt to appease these concerns, further language will be inserted into the bill to provide maximum clarity around the issue. In fact, on May 3rd, Minister Guilbeault, who is responsible for this bill, released a statement that confirms what we all know about this bill. It says, "We also want to make sure that the content that people upload on social media won't be considered as programming under the Act, and that it won't be regulated by the CRTC, and that is why we will be bringing forward another amendment that will make this crystal clear." So there you have it, Bill C-10 in a nutshell. The Act is about making sure that in a growing age of online content, the web giants that make huge profits are treated the same as traditional broadcast mediums like TV and radio.